Hi, and welcome to another edition of Arizona Wildlife Views. Today we're showing you how the Arizona Game and Fish Department is helping others create new roadway construction designed to keep wildlife and you safe on new roadways. Plus, how drought is affecting Gambel's quail and what the department is doing about it. And later, why some Arizona schools are growing trout in the classroom. We've got all that and more today on Arizona Wildlife Views.
Arizona Wildlife Views is brought to you by the sale of hunting and fishing licenses and the Heritage Fund, lottery dollars working for wildlife. Some projects made possible by the Sport Fish and Wildlife Restoration Fund.
So why did the bighorn sheep cross the road? To get to the other side, of course. Today we're showing you how the Arizona Game and Fish Department's groundbreaking work to create landscape connectivity for wildlife is inspiring other agencies to change road infrastructure projects across the Southwest.
Every year, animals cause an estimated 1 to 2 million car crashes in the United States. Those collisions result in expensive repairs, high insurance premiums, human injuries, and a high number of human fatalities. In some of the worst states for animal collisions, there are about 19 deaths for every 1 million registered vehicles. Fortunately, Arizona is considered a low-risk state for animal collisions. That's due in large part to the fact that for more than 20 years now, the Arizona Game and Fish Department has been working with ADOT and other partners to create safer roadways while at the same time promoting wildlife movement across Arizona landscapes.
ADOT, their mission is to get people safely from point A to point B. Ours is to protect wildlife and we have wildlife for our future generations. And so when you can work together with ADOT and you can make both things happen for the good, it's a win-win for everyone. The overpass is the first one in the Sonoran Desert, and so we're able to see how it works here, and combined with this underpass, which is one of a couple of underpasses in the Sonoran Desert, we're able to see how they work for the species that live in this ecosystem, and so far they work really well. To date, we have over 10,000 animals that have used these structures, and about 5,000 have used the overpass and about 5,000 have used the underpass. So having the two structures together has really solved the problem here with habitat fragmentation, and these animals seem to be readily adapting to the structures, and we're seeing over time the use increase. So it's been a really effective project for this situation.
The end goal really is to have healthy biological diversity in the Sonoran Desert, to save the desert and to save the wildlife that live here. Wildlife crossings help us do that.
Jessica Moreno is the Conservation Science Director for the Tucson's Coalition for Sonoran Desert Protection.
Whether it's wildlife camera trap data or roadkill data, or even wildlife sightings that people themselves turn in, all of that helps us not only show that it's working, but also show if maybe it isn't working and how we can make improvements next time. Every time we build a structure like this, a wildlife bridge or a wildlife underpass, it's an improvement on previous projects.
The data collected is crucial, especially when pre-planning for projects like the Oracle Wildlife Crossing. Data and partnerships are the key to future success.
If we want to move the needle towards wildlife connectivity and away from habitat fragmentation in any location and across the state as a whole, it's going to be only possible through partnerships among a diversity of groups. From land management to transportation agencies, it's going to take a whole a myriad of partners to achieve a success like we had here on State Route 77.
The Arizona Department of Transportation has been an important partner with Game and Fish in achieving wildlife connectivity on roadway projects all over the state.
Some of the best projects that we've worked on with ADOT have been projects where there's been a new road going in or a reconstruction going in. In those cases, it's a lot easier for ADOT to put in wildlife crossings than take a road that's already existing and just put in a structure. So, you know, when you're thinking about wildlife early on, it's easier to implement wildlife crossings into those projects. And this is State Route 77 is a good example of that.
Another good example of a successful interstate collaboration to create wildlife crossings is a 15-mile stretch of Interstate 11, 3 miles west of the Arizona-Nevada state line.
So we are standing above Interstate 11, a new section of roadway that goes right through the habitat of desert bighorn sheep.
When the Nevada Department of Transportation, the Regional Transportation Commission of Southern Nevada, and the Nevada Department of Wildlife began planning the Interstate 11 roadway, engineers and wildlife officials turned to the Arizona Game and Fish Department.
So Nevada, when they initially heard stories of us able to successfully build and monitor a structure, that was the impetus for them contacting us just to say, how did you go about that?
Chad Lohberger is one of the core members of the Arizona Game and Fish Department's highly acclaimed road ecology program.
This site was chosen is because it does connect two ridges, which are preferred by desert bighorn sheep. It puts them up high. They have high visibility of the surrounding area. And in this case, they have high visibility of the overpass structure, seeing that it's a safe place to cross the road, basically.
Game and Fish had a successful history with developing 3 wildlife crossings along Highway 93 back when ADOT first began construction between Kingman and the Arizona state line. Prior to that project, Game and Fish had worked first to capture and collar the bighorn and then monitored their GPS movement data. That eventually helped identify exactly where the bighorn were crossing along that 93 segment of highway. After tracking and monitoring for a couple of years, that information went into ADOT's planning of the new section of the 93 highway and led to the creation of those new wildlife crossings. The result was a dramatic reduction in bighorn vehicle collisions and a change in the way engineers and builders thought about wildlife fragmentation and connectivity.
We were able to work with them and say, if you are going to put together a package that you're going to send out to contractors and say, please bid on this project, it would behoove you to put in these stipulations related, in this case, desert bighorn sheep, and the monitoring of those structures. So the contractor knows you should count on building this when you build this roadway.
In the beginning, I was one of those folks, like, seriously, we're creating a bridge for sheep. Does that really, like, in what world does that make sense? But the reality is that in every world that makes sense. Like, the importance of that cannot be overstated.
I mean, when I went to the first meeting and we were meeting with Arizona Game and Fish, we were like, it was kind of a head scratcher, but once we saw what you guys have done and the, you know, the ideas that you brought for the roadways, it was great and it really worked out.
If we want to keep animals connected to the resources they use, we can now make informed decisions to inform that development process.
The vision that Arizona Game and Fish had and their expectation of what they were looking for, it was correct and it worked.
It's really heartwarming to see that they're working, and also to see through these cameras that the wildlife are here. So even though we're home in our living rooms and we're totally unaware that right outside our back doors animals are moving and thriving, it's kind of special.
Sherry Nelson is a really good listener. Good thing, because she's spending a lot of time in the desert south of Tucson listening for quail. And listening to radio signals that lead her to exciting and sometimes grisly discoveries. We'll catch up with Sherry later. First, let's take a look at what brought her out here to begin with. Gambel's quail are adapted to survive in Arizona's deserts, but they rely on winter rainfall for reproductive success. In wet years, they thrive. In years of drought, quail populations can plunge quite dramatically. It makes conserving and protecting them a challenge for the Arizona Game and Fish Department.
The truth is, it's awful hard to actually manage quail populations and manage quail abundance in the desert because they're so driven by that winter precipitation. But still, as a department, we would like to do something in terms of active management to do everything we can to bolster and help the quail populations.
One answer might be found on golf courses. Gambel's quail that live on or near golf courses have constant access to water and food, so their populations remain relatively steady. That's why Game and Fish is partnering with the University of Arizona on a 2-year research project to find out if moving golf course quail to the desert can help jumpstart declining populations.
People might think that this research is just a no-brainer, that you take quail and put them out in the desert and they're fine, but we know from the past that pen-raised birds released out into the wild have a terrible survival rate. And agencies stopped doing that back in the 50s because most of the birds were dying. They didn't have what they needed to survive in the wild.
Golf course quail are still wild birds, so they just might have what it takes to survive in the desert. This research is meant to find out.
So today we're trapping quail, specifically Gambel's quail.
It started in early 2019 when Game and Fish captured quail living on and around golf courses. At times they used a trap that looked like something straight out of Looney Tunes.
For sure, that's exactly what we joked about when we decided to use that trap. Your stick and box trap, yeah. We started off with our traditional dove traps, which are like walk-in funnel traps, and the quail were too smart for those. They'd walk in, eat the seed, and walk right back out.
We had a lot more success with the Wile E. Coyote Acme trap, where the person actually just pulled the string and the trap fell on the quail. It does not get any more fundamental than that.
Once captured, biologists process the quail.
Okay, grab a one.
They draw blood and swab throats for testing to make sure the quail don't carry any unwanted diseases.
Each bird is given a band. It's an identification tag. If we ever catch that bird again, we have a running history of that bird.
They place a radio transmitting necklace on every female so they can locate them after they're released. There are 2 release sites, both in southern Arizona. Owners of the Kings Anvil Ranch and the Santa Margarita Ranch generously gave researchers access to their private property. That brings us back to Sherry.
It's just always really peaceful coming out here, and there's a lot of really amazing things to see, and I love quail.
Sherry's a University of Arizona master's student of wildlife management and conservation, and this research will be the basis of her thesis.
99% of my time is dedicated to being out here, tracking them down, seeing if they're alive or not, if they're doing well. We're doing a 15-mile route, stopping every mile to listen for how many Gambel's quail we hear.
For 3 minutes at each stop, she listens for the one-note mating call of male Gambel's quail.
Yeah, I'm already starting to hear some, so they're already out.
Counting calls is a way to measure the potential for productivity.
Try to see if I could find some nests.
Tracking the females with radio telemetry provides a glimpse at their reproductive success.
I'll take a GPS point when I find the bird.
The radio signals can lead to a nest full of eggs. It can also lead to some disappointing discoveries.
There's been some crime scenes that I've found.
Sherry documented quite a few quail and their eggs that fell victim to predators.
Hawks are a big problem at both sites.
The study is far from over, but here are some early data. In 2019, researchers released a total of 198 quail. 75 were radio-collared females. By late summer, at least 26 of those females were still alive. The number could be slightly higher because 10 radio signals are unaccounted for.
So by monitoring what percentage of them survive and how long they survive and compare those between the areas, we can learn a little bit more about whether this is effective in actually getting quail out onto the landscape and having them live and reproduce.
The study will continue for one more year before we'll know if golf course quail have a future in the desert.
Some of them at the back, like this one, is pretty small.
Trout in the Classroom began more than 30 years ago with the mission of teaching hands-on conservation to students in the classroom.
Getting to go in and take all these measurements and watch them hatch and grow and develop, their little minds have exploded.
The program is designed for teachers who are looking for an environmental education experience in their curriculum that connects students to Arizona's watersheds.
It's fun and creative.
They're really, really, really into the fish.
They've changed a lot since we've last been here.
We partner up our younger grades with our older grades, and so that everybody has a part in this. And then the older students feel like they're helping out and they're teaching our younger students, and then incorporating some of the artwork from students from our younger grades.
Trout Unlimited created the program and partners with agencies like Arizona Game and Fish Department, U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, Arizona Sportsmen for Wildlife Conservation, and other local organizations.
We're bringing conservation to the classroom. We deliver 100 eyed rainbow trout eggs to each school, and then from there they'll get to learn about the trout life cycle and then grow them to a fingerling size. They'll be able to look at water chemistry, pH, nitrogen content, dissolved oxygen content, water temp, just making sure that environment is optimal for the trout survival in the classroom.
Trout in the Classroom simplifies the process by delivering all of the supplies needed while Arizona Game and Fish Department provides the eggs. It's a great partnership that encourages student engagement and environmental exploration.
Trout in the Classroom, they give you all of the equipment, the aquarium, the chiller, the chemicals, the breeder basket, everything that you need, including when they bring in that little bundle delivery of eggs. There's plenty of resources online, and then you have the autonomy as a teacher to be able to kind of build in from there.
The program helps youth and young anglers better understand the value of their local waters and fisheries as they see the trout life cycle up close and personal in the classroom.
This is really a learning opportunity all the way through high school.
You get to see new fish grow up. Yeah, and I've never seen a rainbow trout in real life before, so I think it's really cool.
Having something just different for our students every week, it's a step away from our normal routine, something different. It's a nice way for our two classrooms to intermix and different groups of kids to intermix. So I think it's really important. And again, just keeping kids on our toes, and it's a nice change of pace for teachers too.
They used to be just itty bitty egg sacs.
And they used to be in this basket right up here in this white corner. Now this one throughout this whole tank.
I think it was fun watching them grow and then testing the water and feeding them.
Trout Unlimited staff and volunteers participate in more than 5,000 classroom programs spanning 35 states and reach more than 100,000 students annually. In Arizona alone, 40 schools are participating with more than 4,000 students involved.
It's new and it's exciting, it's fresh, it's interesting. And it makes our weeks really nice. It's a nice way to kind of break things up.
I would absolutely recommend Trout in the Classroom to other teachers, whether it is a school-wide project or a classroom or a department. It really gets the kids thinking, and they are super engaged. They really look forward to Trout Wednesdays.
Right now we're just getting rigged up to be able to climb this tree so I can get up there and gain access into the nest. When I get up there to the nestling, I'm going to have a 6-week-old. My job will be to just get a hold of them as quick as I can. Easy now. Easy now. I'll put the hood on them, it'll block out the light, and he'll pretty much calm down at that point. Calm down. Easy now.
Nestling secured. Nestling coming down.
A little squirmy. On this right side, he's going to get a U.S. Fish and Wildlife band, which is just a identifier that will go into the national database. Beak depth is going to be 28 even. So we're going to wrap him in here like a little eagle burrito. Okay, I think I need a hand, Kyle.
Okay.
And we want to make sure that his legs are tied up so he can't escape. All right, 3.15.
This creek in eastern Arizona is called the Gambel Blue.
The first one is, I think, right back there. 1, 2, 3, 4.
In mid-August, Arizona game and fish biologists Jennifer Pressler and Holly Hicks were here trying to catch an endangered species.
We are hoping to catch New Mexico jumping mice tonight. So we've got Sherman traps here that I'm going to be setting along the stream. So I am checking the treadle of my trap, making sure that it is set properly. That way that the mouse will be able to come in and set that trap off. So that's working very nicely. And now we'll set that back down in here in the vegetation.
The New Mexico jumping mouse lives in thick vegetation along the banks of streams. Listed as endangered in 2014, it's only found in parts of New Mexico, Colorado, and the White Mountains of Arizona.
Jen will come by and flag it and put some bait in there. Bait is just a simple mixture of steel cut oats and unsalted peanuts. And she should be ready to go. So we should be almost to the end of our traps.
Holly and Jennifer are helping Northern Arizona University researchers learn more about this endangered species.
And we just set 70 traps trying to catch New Mexico jumping mice. We are trying to collect genetic data to look at the genetic diversity of the mouse up here throughout the White Mountains. If we're lucky, we'll have a handful of traps that have jumping mice in them in the morning. No targeted species. We caught 3 paramyscus, 3 deer mice this morning. We will close the traps for the day, and then we will come back and reset everything this evening, and we'll check again tomorrow morning and hopefully have better luck on day 2.
On the second morning, 6 traps were triggered.
This is a paramyscus, a little boy.
There were several deer mice.
His whiskers are really cute, though.
Wood rats were the catch of the day.
We came out to the Gambel Blue this week hoping to capture some jumping mice to collect some DNA. Unfortunately, we weren't able to get the sample that we needed this week. We will likely have to try to come back maybe next year since we're getting so close to hibernation time. I don't know if we'll have a chance again to be out here this year, but we'll be out here again next year to try to collect that sample. We need to finish that puzzle, so eventually we'll get this piece.
And that's going to do it for this edition of our show. Until next time, get out there and enjoy those Arizona wildlife views.
To subscribe to Arizona Wildlife Views magazine, which includes the Arizona Wildlife Views calendar, visit www.azgfd.gov/magazine.